Let me pause this. Brenda, thank you so much for joining us. I am so happy to have you. Um, so the way that I like to run it is when a mama joins us, you'll be able to man the questions, be able to kind of bring those up when the time is right. I'll also pull her in for commentaries. And but I want it to be a conversation between you and I. So I want to start with identity narrative. First, tell me about yourself and then talk about identity narrative.
Absolutely. Well, first, Fina, I want to thank you for this opportunity as a small business owner. Having the platform to talk about our brand, why we came to market is so important, particularly at this moment in time. So my partner and I, the whole team at Identity Narrative, thank you for that opportunity. So I have come to this, and my partner's come to this basically as an aficionado, a lover of fragrance. I started my career in business and urban planning, something completely different, but knew that in time I wanted to do something in the beauty industry, and I wanted to do something that really capitalized on natural brandings, natural process, ethical processes, and putting that into the fragrance line. To be honest, fragrance was something that came to me partially because of my husband. He developed an allergy to my favorite fragrance, and kind of bizarre, but in finding it, I did a little research and found that in a lot of commonly available up-brand fragrances, there are ingredients that can be harmful to people, can cause or trigger allergies. So there's things that you can watch for. So I was talking to my partner, and we thought that we could do it better. One, we thought we could create a better product. And two, we thought we could change how people view using fragrance. And that's how Identity Narrative was born. So at Identity Narrative, we're a US brand, which is unusual. We're female-led, which is also unusual. And we believe that scent is a medium for creative self-expression.
You're also a company that's run by women of color.
Absolutely. We are 100% run by women of color. Thank you. So yeah, so we think that fragrance is a platform for creative self-expression, and at its highest form, it is wearable art. So hence our tagline is scent as art. Identity Narrative scent as art.
Well, you know that I bought the product and I love it. I actually used it so quickly that I need to order more. Because I just, I got up in the morning, I would put it on. It's such a great fragrance. And I like the fact that you've spent so much time with sourcing, so I want you to talk about, maybe from a layman's perspective, or, yes, you were doing all this other stuff, right? And then how did you even start? I mean, where does one start?
Well, fortunately, we've always been learners. So that's important. And candidly put 2 years into the research behind the brand before we even started to think about how we would come to market. So as I said, there's the art of fragrances, which scents go with which scent, that blending process, that mixology process that I think people often think of. But there's also the ethical portions of fragrances. How do you source the fragrances? Where are these fragrances coming from? Were they procured in a sustainable manner? And then there's the health aspect to it. Are you blending fragrances or capturing those essences in their highest form? Are you using that highest form? Are you making sure that you're not adding things to your product that can be harmful or trigger allergies or things like that? It's almost impossible to create a product that is 100% for 100% of the people. But what we tried to do is create a product that was safer, cleaner, greener, more ethically sourced than a lot of other brands that you'll find commercially.
But again, I'm going to go back, and I love everything that you said. I want to go back to how do you even begin the research? And you spent 2 years, right?
Yeah.
The research, that's a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know where to begin thinking about, say I wanted to develop a foundation for
Yeah.
I don't even know where to begin, from the actual ingredients to the bottles to the packaging. I mean, you guys had to come up with everything.
Yeah. So fortunately, we're both naturally curious. I had to research businesses as part of my job, but for years. My partner is an attorney, so research and reading and taking in that information is part of the learning or the training. And so we really started with everything from experiential learning, seeing what's in the market now. What can we find out about the current brands? What are they using? How are they sourcing? How are they going about it? And then layering that with scientific research. What are we finding in the medical journals about possible harmful information or harmful ingredients? What are we finding at the NIH? The NIH is a wealth of information in terms of ingredients, studies that have been done on different ingredients, what could potentially be harmful, what is harmful. And then also there's a ton of online resources as well, talking about harmful ingredients, what's in it, what's not in it, what to include, what not to include. And then also we ask some industry insiders. I mean, you definitely have to go to the industry and ask about best practices. And if you could create a better peanut or walnut, how would you do it? So we definitely layered that learning from experiential learning to research and book learning. Lots of different ways that we did to try to get that information in. And it took a while. It definitely took a while.
So when you go about and ask people, did you go and say, hey, we don't have experience in this? Or how did you even approach that conversation?
Well, I think people are naturally interested in helping you when they find that you're interested in the subject matter. So if we're going to industry insiders and we've done our research and we found some best practices and we want to talk to them about, from their experience, implementing X, how would they do that? Or if they could build a better fragrance, how might they go about that? And if we were looking to include this, how might that look? I think no matter what your business is, being able to know when you need to ask for help and look for people to help you, you'd be surprised how many people are there to lend a hand.
So you also, the other thing that I was, so I buy the Nomadic. And I bought it because the name resonated for me.
Yeah.
It was, I thought, I always, until I had my kids, I always felt like I had itchy feet. I was always moving from place to place. I lived in so many different states. And I thought that kind of resonated with who I was. And maybe not now, because I've been in the same place for a long time, or a long time for me. But it really resonated for me. How did you decide how to name your different perfumes? While we rambled on a little bit, which makes you really think about. So Omama and I were just talking about, do you remember the Sprint commercials where they would say, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I feel like this is the stage that these software, the software Zoom and any other ones, go to meeting that they're at, where they're not 100% reliable, or internet is not 100% reliable, but I think it will be. Eventually it's going to get to the point where cell service is at. So I was talking about, while you were gone, I was talking about how you did these focus groups with people.
Correct.
And you had them test a different scents to see which one resonated for them, right?
Correct. Yeah. So thank you for that. I apologize for the disconnect. We actually reached out to a cross section of folks. who we thought could be potential customers, people who we wanted to reach, different ages, different orientations, different locations, and had them kind of test the product, see what they thought, and got their learning from that. And we did that prior to going to market. However, I would say that once we went to market last year, was our first year in market, we spent the second half of that year going to markets around the country so that we were intercepting with the customers directly with the product, with the packaging, getting their thoughts, seeing how they reacted to the different scents. Sometimes of what they picked up was so we are constantly learning from our customers, our tribe, and so thankful that we've been able to reach them. Today is different. We're not able to go out and touch people as we did before.
But one of the things that I really like that you guys do is that you are, and I hope you don't mind me speaking out of school because this may be a trade secret, possibly. But you guys go to where your product is to see what the shopping experience is for other people. So how it shows up. So
Absolutely.
They don't even know that you're going to be there, but you go and you see how the packaging looks, how people are engaging with it. Was that okay to share that? Or was that
yeah, I mean, we certainly didn't pioneer the concept of secret shopping. But one, you know, as someone who founded a brand, co-founded a brand, it's nice to see your brand on the shelves. I mean, there's a certain satisfaction you get from that. But two, you want to see how the customer is interacting with that product on the shelf, and also how the sales staff is interacting at those various stores and locations. So it's been helpful for us to go and understand what that customer experience is with our brand, and understand how the salespeople are doing with the brand, and also always offering to the sales team at those stores to come in to do a training, because we do know that our approach is different. You know, the old school way of thinking is that I have a signature scent. I wear this scent all the time. I don't do anything different but this scent. Ours is a little bit different because we look at it as creative expression. We think you can have a different scent for different days, different moods. You know, I see you there with that awesome dress or shirt on right there with the colors. You may not wear that tomorrow. Tomorrow you might be rocking the black. Who knows? So we try to have a scent, different scents. So we have 7 different ones so that they can really encompass the full range of expression.
Mm.
I love that. You're right. Hopefully I will not wear this dress. And if I do, you should call me out on it.
It's a good one.
You're right. Sometimes it's kind of, I think there was an event that we did, and one of the speakers talked about how she shows up different depending on where she's going. So sometimes she shows up as the CEO, sometimes she shows up as the mom, sometimes as a athletic enthusiast, and that's the way you should engage with her. And I think the way you dress, the way how you smell, and hopefully always good, right?
Absolutely.
How you smell makes an impact, and it does change. Sometimes you do want to, you know, have what did you say, rocking the black dress?
Yeah, who knows?
That's a different perfume altogether. Your hair is up, a different perfume.
Exactly. Your
so
night
how many
out.
scents do you have?
We have 7 different scents.
7 for every day of the week.
For every day of the week. They go from a light, fresh kind of scent to deeper, moodier scents, and pretty much everything in between.
Now, when my boys were little, I used to have socks for them so they could remember the days of the week. And so I would have Monday through Sunday. Why didn't you name them Monday through Sunday?
Well, geez, I guess we didn't consult you. Is that? But the truth is, thinking or going with the premise that scent is wearable art, we wanted the scents to be inspired by different artistic mediums or premises. So the names of the scents are tied to the art that influenced that particular scent or flavor.
Mm.
Now, let me ask you, which one do you wear the most?
Oh, it really depends on the mood. It really depends on the mood. So,
Yeah,
for instance,
sometimes we're like, I found I had, remember you gave me 3 testers.
I did.
And, and then I bought the big one, right?
Thank
And
you.
I wore that one all the time because it felt like that was me 90% of the time. There were
Yeah.
some times when I was a little bit softer, more gentle. But most of the time, I am nomadic.
And that is good. That is a good, bold, earthy kind of scent. It's a good one. I think what we try to do is allow our customers to play with scent. So for instance, we offer a travel triptych. Sometimes you can't kind of decide. I love the idea that you knew which one you liked right away and you went for the full size bottle. But sometimes people, they don't know. So we have like a travel size that's 10 milliliters, very portable, slips in a pocket or a purse. And you can buy 3 of them at a slight discount. And that way, depending, one day I might think I'm, fresh and cool, so I might wear surrealism. Another day I might feel kind of like, I'm an outdoorsy kind of person, so exposure might be the one. Or, I could feel like I'm ready to, write the next opus, so composition might be the one for me. So it kind of depends, and we do encourage the customer to play with scents, to play with the different flavors, and find that one that works for them.
I find that so creative and so genius, really.
Thank you.
So genius. I love that. I also like, so when I go to an event, I look at the event, I am calculating how much money people spend on the flowers, on the staff, and it's a, what do they call it? Job hazard or because that's what I did for a living for so many years, right? Events. When you look at people and how they're showing up, do you immediately assign them a scent based on how they're showing up? I'm just curious.
I love it.
That's a good one, right? I don't immediately, and I do, like I said, I do a lot of customer interface, and I don't immediately, because how you might present at that moment isn't necessarily what you want to present to the world. So there's the aspirational, or what I want to do tomorrow, versus how I might be when I'm at this, event, testing these fragrances now. So a lot of times people really would surprise you. And I think that's how we are as humans. We are multidimensional, and your fragrance should be multidimensional as well.
I love that. I love that. So, if I'm feeling a little, nice and sweet, which sometimes happens.
It could happen.
But instead I want to project that I am. So it's almost like an I am statement.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Right?
Yes.
I am a lioness, or whatever it is that you're trying to conceptualize. So your fragrances with identity narrative also are kind of like I am statements.
Absolutely. I am. And this is how I am today. And tomorrow I might want to represent a little bit differently. And with us, that's okay. We've got you covered.
I love that. See, I didn't know some of this stuff, because whenever I speak with Brenda, there's so many things I want to speak with Brenda about. Because aside from being an entrepreneur, Brenda has all these other aspects of knowledge that she, that have become my go-to person for information. What do you say about that, oh mama?
It's so funny that we're talking about different scents, and there's so I get a lot of I used to buy perfumes, but now I just get like my oils from Kuwait whenever my parents come to visit, so ouds, and it's a stronger scent, and there's certain scents that I'm like, if I'm in business mode, like I'm going to like get a new client, I wear this, and I'm just kind of like, yes, I'm conquering the world. If I want to be flirtatious, I'm like, hey, let's wear this color. What I've noticed though is at home, even though I work from home, I've been working from home since I started my business, I haven't been putting on perfume.
Oh no, I put that stuff on daily. I
You
get
know, and
out
it's
of the
interesting.
shower and perfume.
That's why
As
we
a matter
love
of
you.
fact, so and forgive me for digressing here, but I go to my mom's house.
How you're still talking about them.
I go to my mom's house to have coffee, right? Every morning. And one day I had just overdone it with a perfume. She says, Fina, that's what she calls me. Maybe tomorrow you can take it a little. Oh, okay. So every day, even though I work from home, and I love your bottles.
Thank you.
How did you choose those?
Thank you very much. We wanted something simple and clean. We have a pretty diverse customer, and we're a gender neutral fragrance. So we wanted some, whether you're a man or a woman or wherever you may fall on the spectrum, you would be comfortable with that bottle. So that's why we wanted something kind of simple and clean and modern. So that's how we got to that.
It's kind of sexy,
and
too.
Mama. Oh, thank you. Mama, you mentioned the ouds.
Yeah.
And it's funny because the fragrance that Fina mentioned, Nomadic, definitely has an oud note as well. It's blended with citrus, so it's a little bit lighter, but we definitely wanted to bring in that classic oud note too.
That's amazing. Well, when Josefina said nomadic, I was like, that's me. And I was like, I want to smell it. I was like, oh, that's me.
I love it. Honestly, I love all the scents. I do. But that one resonated more with me than any of the other ones in this particular phase that I am in my life. That's not to say that the other ones don't. Plus, maybe I'm a little lazy too, because I just want to put the same perfume. I realize that, and again, I'm digressing a little bit, but I remember going to visit Elvis's house in Memphis.
Really?
Right? I lived in Memphis for a short, hot minute, and I went to Elvis's house, and Elvis so they were doing the tour, and you get to see the mansion, which is actually very small in comparison to how big mansions or big homes are now. So it's relatively small, low ceilings, but one of the things that my takeaway, not so much about the jungle room or all his clothes, none of that. What I took away from the session was that Elvis would eat the same thing every day for months. So he would eat meatloaf every day, lunch, dinner, and I find myself doing that too. So the perfume, I feel like that's kind of like me too. And I happen to be in the nomadic mode. I'm pushing the nomadic.
That's good. No, push away. That's good. I mean, but you may find as the seasons change, you might like a different scent, and that's good. Or, going back and forth between scents, where's that? Sometimes your nose can get accustomed to a certain scent and you don't pick up on it like you originally did. That could be why your dear mother thought that maybe you had a little heavy hand. And it's also why we really do a higher concentration of those natural oils that Omama mentioned. So you really only need a squirt. And it's hard because sometimes if your nose gets used to it, you think, I need, a few different squirts.
I was doing it. I was like,
Absolutely.
I was definitely wearing too much of it.
Absolutely.
But, I like the idea that you can get all 7 of them, interact with them, and see which one resonates for you. Because you're right, you do get used to it, and that's why in like 3 months, I used up a whole bottle.
Same.
Well, thank you very much. That means you liked it, so that's a good thing.
I am going to see if we have any questions, which we don't currently have. And I'm just being mindful of the time that we have. We have about 20 minutes left.
Okay.
And unfortunately, because we had the problem with initially, there's some people that left. Maybe they'll come back. So we'll keep talking as though we're talking in my living room.
Wonderful. Love that.
So tell me more. I want to know the bottles. Like, the bottles, oh, Mama, they are.
Can you show them? Like, do you have them in front of you right now?
I might be able to reach and grab one. Hang on one second.
Okay.
So
and I would be sad if I had it here, because that would mean that I was just like spraying it.
So this is our standard bottle.
I like
50 milliliter, and we tried to keep the bottles the same. So this is an eau de parfum, and this is a 30 milliliter, and that's a parfum, which is a pure perfume. So
what does that mean?
It means it's a higher concentration of the perfume oils. So it's the closest to the natural oil. You might ask, why don't we just use 100% the natural oil? And that is that sometimes people they get an irritation if they apply the natural oils to their skin. So we wanted to aerosolize it so that it could be approachable to more people. And then finally, this big one is a home one. Many of us are staying at home these days. So this is a home atomizer. So you can kind of spray the environment to smell like your favorite perfume.
Oh, nice.
I like that.
Any thoughts on candles?
We have been thinking, it's funny, I talked about that we intercept with customers a lot, and one of the feedbacks or suggestions that we've consistently gotten was to investigate candles. So that's definitely something we're looking at for 2020.
Because I can see, the fragrances, you enjoy them so much that you can have them in your house at different times.
Absolutely.
Of course, I'm going to have a different room for a different fragrance for each room.
Well, in a big house that might work well. Who knows? But for smaller homes like mine, having a scent, and you can change that scent, from day to day, but having a scent is kind of nice to kind of smell that. You find with hotels, they have like a signature scent when you walk in. One of the better hotels. It's kind of like that. You can have that same environment for your home. Spray the ambiance, spray the sheets, whatever you want to do to kind of bring that scent.
I like that.
Yeah.
I do sometimes. I spray my sheets. And,
I said nothing.
Let's move away from that.
Yeah, again, it's all about creating, that self-expression and putting it forward. So whether it's the sheets, whether it's your pillow, whatever it may be, or yourself, we try to have as many options as possible for the customer to enjoy.
So Brenda, when you started the company, when you started the research, you started all this work, where do you say you spent the most time because you had to learn so much?
The research was really, there's a lot. There's a lot of different ingredients. Just finding what typically goes into fragrance was tough. Fragrance companies don't really have to list it. They can say fragrance as their main ingredient, and that suffices. So really looking to find and getting the research to find what really goes into it, then researching those individual ingredients, doing the research about, okay, do we want to have a preservative or not have a preservative? What are the benefits? And then also we are a vegan line, so looking to see what our options are. Looking to see what our options are so that we can stay vegan. So for instance, one of our scents does have a musk profile. So we do use a synthetic musk because we don't use animal products in our perfume. But being very candid and open with the customer about why we're using this synthetic musk, what's in it, being willing to share that seems to have resonated well with the customer, and they completely understand it. So making sure that you have that dialogue between, us as the creators and our customers, that really seems to be helpful as we're building the brand.
So you spent the majority of how about marketing? How did that play out for you?
Well, we are a small brand, so we market mainly by word of mouth. We have our own presence. We do fairs, we do pop-ups, we do all kinds of events. Fragrance is something that typically people need to interact with in order to figure out how they feel. So we're having to do some learning at this very moment in time because we're not able to personally interact with our customers as we have been for the last 6 months. So we're going to be doing some updates to our website, really promoting people trying the sample sizes, doing the little testers. They're cute. 1 second.
I was just gonna say, do you have the testers? Because I think I may need some.
So this little guy is our little tester size. Very cute. And that compares to this is our 10 milliliter traveler size. It's just a little tester size. And that way you can kind of try it out, see how you like it. If you want more to try, then obviously the 10 milliliter is the right size. But the tester is good. And we also sell a pack of 7. So all 7 cents. So you can kind of test them all out, try them with some friends. Maybe your friend might like these 3, like those 4, who knows? We really do try to make it as easy as possible. So we'll be promoting that on the website starting next week.
And how has what's going on with the COVID-19, how has that affected you guys?
Well, as I said, we love interacting with the customer. So we love being in a retail setting, being at a market, being at a fair, being at a pop-up, and being able to talk to a person about what their scent likes and dislikes and which ones to try and what did they think and how about this. And, being able to have that direct feedback is helpful to us and also helpful to our customer. So that's the major change that we're shifting for, because obviously at this point, we're not able to meet one-on-one with a customer or with a group of customers and explain the premise and have them tested and ask their questions directly. So we do encourage people to connect with us online if they have questions. We've had people ask questions about, you mentioned pure perfume. What is pure perfume? Just as you asked the question before.
I didn't really know that.
Yeah. Or different questions. How long should the fragrance last on me? With the eau de parfum versus the pure perfume. So questions like that, we really do encourage those kind of community questions. We'll post the most common ones online, but even if you don't see your common question asked, feel free to reach out at hello@identitynarrative.com. We respond super quickly. We love to have that interaction and would answer any question folks would have.
Super.
I have a question for you. There's been, back in the day, I saw that there was like samples, those home like boxes that you get, like sample size perfumes. Have you guys thought about doing that, being a part of that box so people like, I think monthly they get like a different scent. Is that something that you guys are looking to do as well?
Yeah, no, we haven't looked at that previously. Now, who knows? We will certainly look at a lot of things, but there's different ones. One, they like repackage the perfume and then they send it to it. Other ones are the regular boxes that you'd get like a little sample or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's all kinds of creative options to do. It's an odd time. For those of us who love retail, it's a different time. Times are changing, but I think you have to try different things, just as we're trying these Zoom calls and webinars. You just have to try different things to reach people, at this moment in time. We're all, evolving.
So we have about 5 more minutes. This is probably a really good time for you to talk about your website, where people would go to buy Identity Narrative. Then you're going to send your friend some.
Absolutely. Nomadic.
I know. Did I say that enough?
I heard it somewhere and I'm happy to hear it. So yeah, the website is Identity Narrative, all spelled out, identitynarrative.com. You can purchase directly on there. Our retail outlets at the moment are all closed, so the best way to purchase is through the website, identitynarrative.com. All of our products are available there, different sizes, everything's there. And we encourage people to explore. As I said, if there's questions, please ask. We love getting questions from customers. If you're debating between two different scents, we would love to have that exchange and back and forth. Or if you want to try a few different scents, that's an option for you as well. So we do try to make it as flexible and easy as possible for the customer.
Super. Well, thank you, Brenda, for joining us. This was a lot of fun. Do stay on for a second. I'll go ahead and cancel the rest of the meeting. Tomorrow we have Nuri Camayo, who's going to be from 1010 Publishing, and she's going to talk about if you have a book in you, how to get that book out. So thank you, everyone, for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow. Oh, Mama, thank you for joining us.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
And if you can stay on.
Yeah, I'm here.
There you go. Now it's just, I'm just looking to make sure I'm